subjects. One is working on other people's bikes, which I have done some talking in a previous video, and the other is an update on a Suzuki Boulevard. First of all, a guy asked me, left a comment, and said if he would bring his bike here, would I work on it? He was telling me that when he has it parked, it drips some oil, and it might get worse, and yes, it definitely needs looked at. I cannot work on anybody's bike due to liability. Liable means you're responsible. I don't have liability insurance. So if I have a bike here and I'm working and something goes wrong on it, I'm on my own. And we'll say you need a brake job and you seen me pull the pistons out and redo it, and somebody might say, you know, I live right near you, you live in that area, can I bring it over? If I work on it and I do a perfect job for you, you go out and it's perfect, you're riding, everything's great, all of a sudden something happens to say that wheel that I took off and fixed the brake or something, you go out of control and you hit somebody, and say the worst scenario would be you hit, say, a little kid and you killed them, they're going to come after you for your insurance and everything, and they're going to investigate, and they're going to say, well, where do you get your work done on your bike? And you say, well, this Norm guy has YouTube and he worked on it. They're going to come to me. Now you would probably never sue me, you know, you'd say, well, you know, if something went wrong, it went wrong. It might not even have nothing to do with the brakes, but they might say I put that wheel together wrong or something, and I took it apart just as if, you know, and put it right back together the same. You need the book, and a lot of times I look in the books to see where the spacers are and see what's going on. And this is kind of like a cheap insurance. But you might not sue me, but they might. Look at O.J. Simpson. He was found not guilty for killing, what's her name? The family went after him and they got a big settlement. That could happen to me. I could, and if you don't have the money to pay a big settlement, they take property. They could take your cars, your bikes, your house, your property. You could lose everything. So all the dealers, they have insurance. That's why a lot of times, for years now, they don't allow nobody back in their work area. Now they might escort you back and show you something, but then they want you to leave. And that is why if you trip back there, you get hurt, they're responsible. And their insurance could come up and say, well, we told you in your policy you're not supposed to have anybody back there but your workers. These people aren't covered. It ain't like the old days where you could go back in there and talk to people, and you could even, you know, it was like wide open, and a guy's working on your bike, you can go back and talk to him a little bit. It's not like that today. Today's completely different. So you have a leak under your bike, and you say it's just when it sets. Take paper towel, wipe it all down. You could even spray some of that degreaser on, like gun cleaner. You let it set for like 10-15 minutes, and then you hose it off, wipe it down and dry it, take it for a ride a couple miles, come back, set it there, lay paper towel underneath, and then look where it's dripping. Get yourself one of those, either look up under it, and it's hard to do, get yourself one of those mirrors on the telescoping thing, put under there and find where that leak's coming from. It might be something simple, it might be the casing of the motor, it could be involved where, you know, you might have to remove the engine, you never know. That's why, you know, you can't really say what it is. It's that's what you got to do. But I'm sorry, but I can't work on anybody's bike. I have a tire changing machine, and a long time ago I used to change tires for guys. I'd balance them. I can't do it today. Something goes, they get down the road and something happens to that wheel. Who worked on it last? And it could possibly happen. And you'll notice on my thing that I always put on, what works for me. This isn't like, I put these videos up, you can follow them. But I always say, if you don't feel qualified enough to do it, don't do it. get somebody qualified. There's bike shops. Go to a dealer. If you have to spend the money, you have to spend the money. But don't jump into it following it step by step if you're not sure. But usually I show step by step, but I'm not saying that's an instructional video. That's for entertainment. It might, help you out a little bit, but it's not like step by step and a cure-all. So that's a warning on that. And you just have to cover your own whatever. So the best thing to do is, like I said, look under there and find where that oil leak's coming from, and then you'll have an idea. Is it the motor? Is it maybe a seal up in there someplace? See where it's coming from. It could be just so much right off the bat, you don't know. It's usually a gasket or an O-ring or a seal or something like that. It has to be. And as they get older, you can get an oil leak. Okay, on to Suzuki. Everybody's having that idling issue. The last time I worked on my Suzuki, I had it to where I put in that tool I had, I brought it up and I had it off, and I was looking for the idle control, idle speed control, ISC, idle speed control. Now with that tool, I'm supposed to be able to reset it. I turned the bike on, I had that plugged in, I got clear up to where it said to run the machine. Well, I had done other things on it, and I had the tank off, I had most of the gas out of it, so I couldn't start it up. But that tool took me up right to there, and it wanted me to start the machine, and I think it was going to show me, this is the setting, do you want to change it? Which it might have worked. But then what happened, I got the Honda, I just, I didn't work in here for a while because I'd worked so much on that, you got to take a break. I didn't get back to it, but I couldn't find an email. I found an address and I sent them a letter in California. I think it was California. Yeah, BREA, California. Suzuki Motor, USA. So I wrote them a letter and I said, with all this trouble that these bikes are having with the idling and what the owner is going through, I said, is there any way you can direct me to figure out how to get this situated? I meant, look into it. These are your customers. If you mess up a customer, like I can't get them to even think about helping me or saying something, then you say, next time I buy a bike, it ain't gonna be a Suzuki. And I've been on YouTube saying about these bikes. I've told guys, and I think a couple of them said they had looked at a nice Suzuki C50, they don't buy it because I told them, you got that idling issue, it could start at any time. Well, man, if you're out on the road on a long trip, you finally take a nice long trip and that happens, you can't run that bike. You can run it, but then every time you go up to a stop sign, a red light, the thing won't. It's either real high or down low. No, just it goes crazy. It has to be reset, or not reset. They call it initializing it to the bike. That's what the book says, initializing it to the bike. So that's what you have to do, initialize it. And the letter, I got an email. I gave my email address, my address, phone number, everything. So here's what they sent me. And I said, a lot of people are having this trouble. And I said, I have people asking me. I can't figure my own out yet. So here's what they sent in an email. And it took them a good while to get back to me. Hello, Norman. Thank you for the letter you sent to Suzuki Motor USA LLC. We are sorry to hear of your repair needs for your 2012 Suzuki Boulevard C50. Suzuki can provide technical support, but to do so, the motorcycle would need to be at a Suzuki dealer. However, you can purchase the Suzuki service manual from the following website, and they give me a website for it. And it's Debbie, no last name, Debbie, Customer Relations Specialist. So she didn't say, I'm going to look into it, I'm going to ask some of my technicians, And if they would say, well, you know, it really has to be initialized, we have to do it at the dealers, you know, we don't recommend you doing it. None of that. No. She come up with this, and that's what she said. And she probably asked somebody. But it wasn't like a, you know what I mean? It's like they got their money. They're done with you. And that's the trouble today. You know, I mean, it's always been maybe you went to a dealer and you felt maybe you didn't get treated right. But it seems like now, man, you pay. And like the car, my, I never go to the dealer. I know people go there, they give them the lifetime inspection. Well, that's where I'll take it. Yeah, then they start. You need all 4 calipers put on that car. I have worked years and years on cars and stuff, and bikes. I have never seen any vehicle that needed every caliper changed at the same time. You have one sticking. Well, yeah, it is nice. They're going to make the money. That's why they're going to change them. They can pull them off, put them on, bleed the brakes, are done. I opened it up like I show on this bike, and I redo them, and I'll try that. Now, if there's a rubber piece that is bad, and I like on the car, you have that boot over it, where this just has 2 seals inside. If that boot's split, it's done. You can't buy that boot, and that's why they don't sell it. They want to sell you the caliper. So you take it there, and it seems like they're always happy with $1,200 and a little bit more. My son did that. My sister-in-law did that. They were sick over it. The dealer and that's like, well, it's going to cost like $1,200 and some to get all this straightened out. I look at it, 4 calipers. No, 1. I rebuilt one. The other I did have to get a new one because that boot was ruined. And I probably got everything done for $200, maybe a little over $200. They want an engine flush. Worst thing you can ever do. That's my opinion. What you believe, you go do. But I would never have a car flushed. That is pure money for them. And how I know is when I worked in the steel industry, there was a young man come in there, and he had, we started talking, told him, you know, and real nice, and where'd you work, you know, and he said, for this car dealership. And so we're talking, and somebody asked him about that. They said, what do you think of that engine flush? He said, no way. He said, that is pure money for them. He said, it is so bad that they want to sell you that so bad that they give the guy that takes care of you, you know, when you go in and he tells you what you need and this and that, those guys, whoever sells the most for a month of those engine flushes gets a big prize. Could be a trip, could be money, but they push that hard because that is pure money. And I've heard stories where it messed the car up. I had a real good friend here that his car was messed up from it, and it wasn't that old. They talked him into it, he did it, he said never again. Didn't run the same, this and that, went and traded in, got a new car. So I don't believe in them. Additives, I don't care for them. I don't use them. Engine treatment, you know, oil treatment, stuff like that. You don't need it. You take care of your car, you change oil. What more can I say? But I'm really sorry that I can't work on the bike, because then I would have so many people here. I could start my own business. But you know, I'm going to be 71 years old pretty soon, so I don't want to be doing all that work. Plus, I got my own to do. Finally got all the brakes done. They're done, none leaks, put all them new rubbers in. It's great. So, I'm trying to think now, putting exhaust on. I got part of the exhaust on. I got to put all new gaskets around it. It takes 3 big wide rings to go in there to seal them. It's coming. I want to get it done before summer's over. Man, it was hot today, up to 92. So anybody that asks me about doing work on their bike, now I can just grab this video and show them. You know, because new people come in and, you know, they watch my videos and then they'll say, you know, maybe I just live near you. You know, could I come over and you look at it? No. I'll try to tell you, you know, where I think the trouble is and maybe even how you could try to fix it. But I don't touch anybody's bike anymore. Nothing like that. So, hope you have a good day.